Hello, my mindful adventurers. Are you ready for your weekly dose of the blog post? This week we are talking. This month, let me start from the beginning. All right. This month we're talking about the mind-body connection. It's something I've been wanting to talk to you guys about since November. My name is Jamila. I will be your guide today, editor, commander-in-chief on the A Mindful Adventure channel. And this week we're talking about the somatic, our somatic library. I was gonna say somatic tension, but that doesn't make sense. Well, it makes sense, but anywho. So you click this because you want to know how the body keeps score. How does the body keep score? Through somatic archives. That's why a lot of people, I don't know if you've heard about like the somatic exercises, people talking about doing somatic exercising and releasing a lot of trapped trauma, a lot of trapped emotions, crying, like letting out all these feelings and all that stuff. And we gonna get into that as the month progresses. But for this month, we're just gonna talk for this week, we're just gonna talk about how the body keeps score and ways that you can like work through it. And of course, as the month goes on, you'll have more tools. So you guys stick around for all of that. I'm super excited to start this month with you guys, and I'm just excited to start this whole video with you guys. Honestly, like I just and of course, you guys want to go check out the blog post at any point in time during this video. Don't be afraid. It's down below in the description. The blog post title is The Physical Ego. Sorry, The Physical Echo. How the Body Keeps Score. And like I said, you can find that down below. It will be right in the beginning of all. If I list any other videos or not videos, but blog posts, I'll be there. If there's any videos that I talk about, there'll be cards up here, so you can click that as they come up. Or, of course, at the bottom of the blog post, there will be a video link. And of course, if the blog post that I bring up doesn't have a video, then there will be no video that I bring up, that I put up here. So, all that in mind, let's dive into the topic of the week because I'm excited, and the month. I'm really excited, guys. Like I've been wanting to talk. Like I love talking about the mind-body connection, and I feel like it's really important. And like I feel like I have like a really unique perspective on the mind-body connection, and I want to share that with people. And if you fuck with it, you fuck with it. If you don't, you don't. You know what I mean? Just leave down in the comments. You fuck with it, you don't. I don't know. All right. So last month, we talked about the architect, talked about source, and about like weaving ourselves into like the fabric of space and time, and the people around us, and our environment, and with our own lives, and with the creator, and all that stuff. And now we're talking about the body. We're talking about specifically the body, the actual thing that is doing the weaving itself. Like I said, the needle. We're not gonna stick with the weaving theme. Like I'm not gonna lie, this month we're getting away from that because the body is a temple, right? The body is truly a temple, and I know we hear this all the time. The body is a temple. You shouldn't get tattooed, whatever to the body, because the body is something we should take care of and celebrate. But also at the same time, like personally, I don't believe with vibe with that. I have tattoos of my own. Like I want to put permanent designs on my temple. And last time I checked, a lot of these temples are made like beautifully ornate, and then they have artwork in them. So why not put artwork on our body? But anywho, aside from that, that's not what we're talking about. Okay, I just wanted to mention that. But that's how I feel about the temple thing. But our body is a temple that has a living, breathing, working library right now. Your mind working, the things that are coming in, your short-term memory, a little bit of the long-term memory. And then you have like the deep down, like subconscious stuff, and the deep memories in the catacombs, in the down below, where like the deep catacombs, they go deep, and they run deep as fuck, because that's all our genes. That's all the shit that's passed on from other people. That's all the stuff that we've obtained over the years. That's all the stuff that we are working through, right? In the somatic practice. And then also there's like, private spaces of worship. There's private like sanctuaries that you can go to. Like, we have our own private lives. We have our own private individual things that we don't share with other people, that we keep to ourselves or only share with certain people. And then of course there's the open space for learning and for worship, which is the main sanctuary, right? And that's also a part of our, like, that's like our mind. That's like how we present ourselves to other people and how we live our lives. Because living our life, like, one of the things I took from Christianity that I will continue to tell everybody about is our lives should be a constant worship, constantly worshiping, not just like divinity, but also like the fact that, well, one, we're alive and we have these bodies, and our bodies are here to help us. So we should be like not worshiping the body specifically, but giving the body credit where credit is due. Like, I love to honor my body. I feel like that's a form of worship. It's not like I'm sitting here bowing down like, oh my god, my body, I'm a deity. No. I feel like we should honor our bodies. Our bodies are doing their best to keep us alive, comfortable, living, breathing. So we should be very grateful and very much in tune to that. And the thing about like why this relationship with ourselves, with this temple, with our body is so important is because, and like the catacombs, like I said, the catacombs we're talking about, the deep stuff, that somatic stuff, it's part of, what am I trying to say? It's part, yes, it's part of like the traumas, the experiences, and emotions and things, events that happen that you didn't fully work through. It might not all be trauma. Sometimes it's just something very simple that you didn't think like affected you, and it is affecting you. Or something that happened in one of your family members' lives that is passed on to you, because what we do gets translated into our genes, and we do pass that on to our kids. Like, that's something that does happen. Like, there's a study. It was on flies, okay, but not flies. It was on fleas. Grasshoppers. I think they did grasshoppers, and I think they also did fleas. But the one I'm talking about is the flea study. But basically, what happened is they took fleas and they put them in this container, and then they kept jumping up, 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 and then after a while, they realized they can't jump higher than the container, so they stopped trying to jump higher than the container. And then even when they took them out of the container, they still didn't try to jump higher than the container. And then when they let them breed and make babies, their babies didn't jump higher than the container, even though they had the complete ability to. They just didn't, because that shit was passed on. Like, fleas don't rear their young. They don't they don't teach or raise their young like bees and ants and other like colony kind of insects. You know, we raise our young as people, as humans. Mammals raise their young for the most part and teach them how to hunt and like survive and all those things. Fleas don't do that. So it had to be genetic, right? So think of it that way. I mean, like, we're not fleas, like I said, but that's just goes to say like how important and how critical it is to like really take care of yourself, and also really like look into what you're feeding your body and what you're telling your body, because you are telling the future generation, if you have children, of course, if you decide to have children or have children in the future, you're showing the future, basically telling the future generation, these are my limitations and I'm giving them to you, right? So physically, mentally, like, you know, things of that nature. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this, because it's not just things that, like I said, it's not just things you experience, it's also things that other people experience. Sometimes some of the shit that you have to deal with has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you at all. I'm gonna talk about emotion code during this as well too, because it's a really powerful practice. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Literally, the body literally tells on itself. It tells you, oh, this is what happened. It'll tell you when and all of those things. So let's go ahead and dive right in, like I just said. Okay. So what is the Somatic Archive? What is these deep catacombs I'm talking about, right? Like I mentioned, right? Of course I just talked a little bit about it, but we're gonna go into more detail, right? So the score, right? The score of the body, like the score that the body keeps, is the emotions that we don't let go. So like, emotions are energy in motion, and when we stop the motion or stop it from happening, so let's say like you're really emotional or something like that and you don't want to feel that emotion, you know, you kind of bottle it up and like keep it under wraps until you can deal with it later, or you keep it under wraps until you blow the fuck up because, you know, the straw that breaks the camel's back was too much and now you're blowing up. So don't do that. But aside from don't do that, this is a part of where the body like holds on, how the body holds on to the things, because we didn't tell our body to hold on to any of this. Okay, this is actually starting to irritate me just a little bit, so you guys can see my hands and more of Bear, and Bear's holding this Mandarin for me. Anywho, make sure that my mic is still on. Okay. So like the body, so like it's not just like, so the records that your body keeps, it's not just stuff that you remember, it's not just stuff that's in your head, it's not just what's going on right here and now, it's all the things that you've experienced throughout your entire childhood, throughout even during when you were in the womb with your mother, and like I said, with your ancestors, it goes back generations. And that's another thing too, like I know in the like I told you I grew up Christian, obviously. Grew up Christian. I mean, you can't see it, but I'll show you guys a little closer. It's upside down because I usually show it to people like this, but it's hard to do it like this to the camera because, anywho, I digress. But one of the things that they talk about in the Bible is that the generation, it's like 7 generational curses or something like that. So like if you do something and it curses your family, then it like carries on for 7 generations. Very similar, actually. Our body really does actually hold on to that shit. Like if your great 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 granddaddy, great 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 yeah great great granddaddy, decided that they were going to, let's say, not be physically active. This is an example. This is one example. Or nah. Let's do addictions because I feel like addictions is more relatable. Not, I mean, they're both relatable, okay? But let's go with addiction. So let's say your great 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 granddaddy decided that they're gonna get hooked to alcohol, like to the bottle constantly, all day and night, and then their kid grows up to also like alcohol, and you can kind of see how this goes on. Like, you see your parent doing it and you're like, maybe I should do it, or maybe I don't want to do that, but then you start doing it and you're like, oh wow, this feels good, I like the way this makes my body feel because granddaddy liked the way the body felt. So then you keep going, and then it gets passed on down the generations of more perpetual, like it gets worse. Usually it gets worse, and it's hard to break those types of things. I know for my family on my dad's side, a lot of them, when I went to go visit, they were talking about alcohol and all kinds of stuff, and I would not be surprised if they were struggling with drug dependency and things of that nature. I'm talking about the kids were talking about this shit. Like, it was very eye-opening for me when the kid, literally, I think she was like 12 or something like that, and she was like, I'm gonna go down the street to whatever her face's house, she's having a party, and they're gonna have wine coolers and beer and stuff, and I'm like, okay, and I was like 5 or 6, so like, yeah. But I was never like that. I didn't grow up around them. And see, that's another thing too, like your environment influences you as well. It's not like literally my body is very alcohol intolerant. Like literally I can't drink multiple days in a row. Like I will get sick. I literally will throw up and get sick. My body can't handle it. So I barely drink ever. But for those who were, in that environment, they're gonna be more willing to be like, who cares? Like, it makes me feel good, and keep going, and eventually your body's gonna create a tolerance. And that gets, again, like I said, passed on to your kin, your children, not your kin, but your children specifically, not just your relatives. So that's like one way to explain like how you got shit from your parents or grandparents. I know when I was doing emotion coding, I want to get certified, which we gonna get to that at some point, guys, and then I can help you guys with it because we can do it over the phone, which is great. Well, over Zoom or whatever. But anywho, one of the things I learned in emotion code, like, because I went into emotion code because I was like, that regular therapy, it worked kinda, but it didn't really help me as much as literally having my body tell. Because what happens in emotion code is that your body, like we test the muscles in the body, because the trauma, the things that we experience get stuck in the soft tissues. So that includes our muscles, our tendons, our joints, right? Not our bones, nothing like that. I mean, it does, but when we go through a traumatic experience, it gets trapped in our soft tissues, right? Not, like I said, not our bones, but in our joints and stuff. So like some people have, for me, I have wrist pain. I have hip pain, sometimes in my neck, my ankle. I actually have an injury on one of my ankles, but it's the other one that is always in pain, which is weird. Like literally the other one was injured, I had a surgery on it and everything, but it doesn't hurt nearly as much as the other ankle. And during emotion code, when I was testing that stuff, found out that my ankle was hurting because I was holding back, or like I was no, I was in despair for like leaving my friends in Washington, in Wisconsin. I had a lot of friends in Wisconsin. I still have friends in Wisconsin. They were really good friends, and I had to leave them to go live somewhere else, and I ended up having to leave there because it was dangerous for me to stay there, mentally and physically dangerous for me to stay there because of the situation that was going on. But while I was in the other situation, that's when I found this emotion code person. So we were like going through it, and I love her. I love her to this day. If you're watching this, Lynn, thank you so much. I really need to hit you up soon. But anywho, so basically what she would do is I would lay down, relax my body. I would take off like my phone and watch and stuff like that, and I'd just be like in my clothes, obviously in my clothes. And then we just ask questions, like yes or no questions, to like the body specifically. And she would like press on my hand, and I just would hold my hand in one place. I'm not like forcing it against her or anything. I was just holding it. And then when she tests, like it would be like, if it was no or whatever, it'd be limp. But if it was yes, it'd be like a firm, thing. And you can do this with your finger. You can do this with any muscle in your body. Like you could do it with your whole arm if you wanted to, or your leg. But I mean, the hand, the arm, it makes more sense, especially if you're laying down. So there's that. And that's like one of the ways that she does it. I know some other people do it differently. Some people like they do have you do like a finger thing or whatever. But yes. Anywho, the body basically will not lie. Like literally, if you're like, you ask questions to your body and you'll be like, I don't think so, and then your body's like, actually yes, and we need this, and and it kind of seems like magic at first until you understand like kinesiology and somatic processes and things of that nature. It makes sense. But to someone who doesn't know anything, and probably to you, I'm assuming you don't know anything about emotion code, it seems like magic. Okay, it seems like it's magic, like some kind of witchcraft shit, and it's really not. I think it's really cool. And it's funny because like once you find out if there is a block, depending on what type of block it is, we use like magnets. I almost said magic. Magnets to clear that energy, because energy is the reaction between atoms and the composition. So it's the electrons, the electrical current, and electricity. That electrical current is the energy, and that energy can be moved and altered with magnets, because the reason why magnets are so sticky or they stick to metal is because of the electrons thing. So basically what I'm saying is the energy in your body is affected by a magnet. So you can during the emotion code session, if you find that you have a emotion that's trapped within your body that's from you, I think it's like 3 passes of the magnet, and it's from like the front forehead down the back, not down the back, but like from the forehead to the back of the head. But if it's like your family, like the trapped emotion came from your family, then it's from like the forehead all the way down, like all the way down your back. And that helps like clear it. Of course, things come back, and like it's not like it's an instant perfect fix, but it's very similar to that of chiropractic. If you ever get chiropractic work, and then you're like, if you've ever had chiropractic work, you get adjusted, and then you stand up and you're like, wow, I feel like a whole brand new fucking person. Holy shit. That's kind of like the same thing for emotion code. Like you feel it almost instantaneously, depending on how in tune you are to your body, of course. And then of course there's supplements and things that you can do on the side of it that help with the clearing and all that stuff. And then other things that you can do, like physical workout, or like stretching and things of that nature. So yeah, I just wanted to like really real quick geek out about emotion code, because I feel like that really kind of explains like how we can work through this. Of course, you don't have to do emotion code. If you can find an emotion code or a body code practitioner, go right ahead. I suggest it for everybody. You should try it. But for those of us who are not interested in it, right? I'm gonna dial it back and get back to the topic because I just really, like I said, I just wanted to blurb about it because I like to chat. Anywho, so when we store unprocessed feelings, it gets like I said, it gets trapped in our body, and it shows up as like pain. Okay, I'm not gonna. Well, yeah, it shows up as pains or like aches or tightness in the body, and there is a difference between an actual fucking injury or like something that your body's actually going through. Like, let's say you have sciatica, and sometimes it takes a while for that to get diagnosed because you have to do like a CAT scan, I believe, and like I think there's imaging and staining involved with that. I can't remember, but no, there isn't. I don't think there's staining with that. Why would there be a staining with that? Anywho, but like you have to get either MRI or CAT scan. I can't remember which one it is. If I remember, I'll put it here. I'm trying to remember. If I go look it up, it's gonna be there. Anywho, but so like yeah, if you have like something like that, and like that's actually like a pinched nerve. Like that's something that can you could actually work through sciatic nerve pain and like get it to relieve itself through yoga and stretching and that of that nature. Unless you have really bad genes. Okay, we're not gonna talk about bad genes. We're just gonna talk about general pains, aches, as you get older and things of that nature because shit happens. Shit be happening to the body, and your injuries, they do perpetuate. Like I said, I literally had surgery on one of my ankles, and then for some reason the other one has never had surgery, any kind of injury like that, and it'd be in pain constantly because again, it has to do with my friends. And it's funny because like when I think about it, like I do get kind of like a little thing going on in there. I can like feel it, and that's another thing too. I wanted to mention as well. When if you are trying to figure out if the pain is, and this is a part of the second section, I'm gonna stop because I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah. Okay. So basically, I just explained all of that already. So we can move on to the second one. I was just making sure. So we have internal seasons, right? Let's talk about the internal seasons, and then I can talk to you guys more about telling the difference between an actual injury. Well, obviously, if it's an actual injury, you should know if you injured yourself, or you should know if those types of things. Like, but sometimes we don't know. Sometimes it's a mystery. Just like what was it? I knew someone who woke up with a broken hand. Um, they sleep in the same they slept in the same bed as their spouse. They woke up with a broken hand, and the spouse doesn't remember doing it. The person with the broken hand doesn't remember doing it. They just woke up and their hand was in incredible pain. So things be happening sometimes, you know what I mean? But aside from that, like I feel like you should know if you had an injury or something and now it's like kind of rearing its ugly head. So we have internal seasons, right? So like the world, the planet, right, that we live on has its own seasons. I'm not using this to describe anything. I'm just gonna eat it. But we have seasons. Right now, I'm in the middle of towards the end of springtime. The end of winter time. Here in Texas, it looks like spring, doesn't it? I mean, we got all this lush grass and stuff. The trees haven't quite come back yet. Some of them are, but we're not quite there yet. We're not quite to the point where everything is coming back. But we're getting there, like I said. So we all have seasons, right? And the first season is spring, and I hate that we start the calendar year in the middle of fucking winter. That's dumb as shit. It should be May 1st. Should be the first day of the year. Anywho, I digress, right? So the spring is a time for us to come back from our conscious hibernation. We talked about conscious hibernation all throughout December. Yes, all throughout December, and that was the beginning of winter, end of fall. That month, first day of winter is the longest night of the year, December 23rd. I mean 21st. 21st. And then it gets colder. And as it gets colder, you don't really want to do stuff, so you kind of like introspect and but like come more into yourself. Like you're not going out more, you're not being as social, you're probably eating more food, which is normal because we need to as animals we needed to have fat on our bodies when the winter came, because if we didn't, then we'd get cold a lot faster than if we didn't. Yeah. And one of the things also that we do like into the springtime is we're now leaving that introspection from that place of stillness, of calmness, and coming into a state of growth. Honestly, exponential growth. I mean, have you ever seen the springtime? All this shit that you thought was dead, all of a sudden, boom, it's fucking booming, it's blooming, it's everywhere, it's going, it's doing its thing. And as the springtime goes on, it ramps up, it gets more and more intense. And then in summer, we're vibrant, we're blooming, we're blossoming, we're um sorry, we're thriving, right? We've now transcended just getting back on our feet, and now we're doing exponential, we're going extra limbs, we're doing not us personally, but the planet is growing extra things. It's growing things that weren't, maybe some of the things weren't there, but there were seeds and they were planted. Now they're growing and now they're flourishing and they're blooming and they're booming and they're doing all the things, right? And our bodies do the same thing in our own personal springtime, but I mean in the summertime, our own personal summertime. Okay, let me just finish all the seasons, and then from summer into fall, that's when the weather gets a little bit more harsher. It starts to get more windy. It starts to get kind of like, well, not kind of. It gets how do I describe it? Unfavorable for growth, right? And then we have to start sitting down and thinking about, okay, what do we need to get rid of? Like, by what I mean the planet is getting rid of limbs that it doesn't need. It's getting rid of plants it doesn't need. Anything that's dead, like letting go, like culling it, like getting rid of it, working through it, and then eventually getting to a point where we can go into dormancy, which is wintertime, which is that introspection time I was talking about. So our bodies basically do the same thing, right? We have our own scale. Our scale doesn't line up the calendar. Like, sometimes it does. Sometimes we are right in line with the seasons. But for most of us, a good amount of us, we are not lined up exactly with the calendar. That's just not, we just don't. And the feminine body itself goes through seasons every fucking month. And the masculine body goes through seasons every single day. Like through all of the seasons. Winter, spring, summer, fall. Like all of the, well, spring, summer, winter, fall. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. Why do I keep saying fall? But I mean, I can say either one. So, skeeby, a little scab. But yeah, our bodies go through the same thing, and our seasons might not line up with the actual seasons. Our seasons might be very different. Like for me personally, well, I can't really say that because I've been resting for like the last, basically almost all of, just before winter started until about recently, like constant resting. I'm slowly ramping back up, just like, in the springtime, we don't just go from freezing cold temperatures to 90 degrees in the next day unless you're fucking Texas. Or also, I think someone said Louisiana and not Georgia, Alabama also does that. So if you live in those states, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. But we don't go from 0 to 100 real quick. We go from 0 to 10 to 20 to 30. We gently go up. Like we going up a little bit every day. And that's basically what I'm doing right now. I'm in my personal springtime, even though we're in the middle of winter. I don't know how long it's gonna last either, because it could also just last a couple weeks, and then I could be like back to full capacity, doing all the extra things that I used to do, which I want to get back to doing. I'm super excited about that. But I'm just saying, like, the human body doesn't always follow the physical calendar or the man-made calendar, right? It's following a different, more ancient calendar, which is also possibly passed down from our parents. But in each season, what I'm trying to say, not only do we have like the introspection from the winter time and the blooming and growing from the springtime, the thriving in the summertime, to the culling and getting rid of what we don't need in the fall time, we also have different traumas that come, well, different traumas, different emotions and things that come up with each thing. While we're in introspection, we might be thinking about things that happened to us when we were really young. We might be thinking about stuff that happened to us when we were developing and growing and all that. And then when we're in springtime, when we're growing and basically coming out of the winter time, and we're just like growing new limbs, or growing new like plants and stuff like that, we might be dealing with things that we experienced recently, something maybe something that happened in the fall time or whatever, and we're like experiencing that now, and we're working through that now, instead of, I don't know, still working on like the stuff from when we're childhood. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like things that come up. And also in the springtime too, because everything's waking up. There's a lot of things that maybe we suppressed during the wintertime, or things that we were experiencing in the wintertime that now are more in our face and are more like, hey, you need to handle me. And in the summertime when we're thriving and stuff, like of course we're still gonna have the process of growing and evolving and going from being traumatized to not as traumatized or not as triggered by the trauma. It's a long and it's decently long process. It's one of those things where you got to give it time, and it's a cycle, because like for all you know, you might literally be dealing with the same thing every single year, like physically you're seasonal. Like every time you come back to the winter time, your winter time or actual winter time, you might be dealing with the same thing, because what was it, anniversary trauma responses. So like from like the year that, like, let's say trigger warning, but let's say like maybe you lost a loved one, someone that's very close to you, and let's say you lost them. The one that really that really it's really obvious for people is around like the holidays. Let's say you lost them around the holidays. I lost people around the holidays, but let's say you lost somebody around the holidays, and then the next year it comes around, you're like, oh fuck, I remember, and you associate them with the holiday, and then the holiday kind of becomes a depressing thing because they're not here anymore, and then it's a perpetual thing, and then you might be fine after the holiday, but then the next year, again, it comes up, and then or their birthday, maybe they passed away before their birthday, whatever, that kind of thing. That's basically what I'm talking about here. There was something crunching back there. I don't know what it was, but but yeah. So like the process be processing. I was saying that, okay, now let's go into the next thing. So the dormant aches. Why does it feel like, how do we deal with these persistent emotions? How do we deal with these things that are coming up during these seasons? How do we handle this, right? Like how do we like work through it so we don't have to deal with it anymore, or deal with it as frequently anymore? Because like really, a healing process is not linear. Like I told you guys last week. I don't know if I said it on the live. I think I did. Not live, on this the video, so you can check out the video. I'll probably just put it here. um or you can I don't know, it's also in the blog post too, but literally growth is not linear. It looks like you gave a 3-year-old a Sharpie and a pristine wall and walked away for 30 seconds, came back, and then the whole wall is like, well, where they can reach, but the whole wall is like covered in scribbles. That's what progression. That's what was it? Well, that's what growth looks like. That's what success looks like. That's what some of our lives look like. Like there's forwards and backwards and ups and downs and backwards and ups and forward and back and circles and rounds and loop de loops and all that shit. That's what it looks like when we're dealing with these things and we're going through it. So what do you do, right? How do we just like, how do I fix it? How do I handle it? How do I Well, the whole point is not to sit here and be like, how do I fix it? Because one, you're not broken, okay? That's something, I'm gonna put that up here. You're not broken. You're not fucking broken. Two, you're not just fixing it. You gotta understand it. You gotta give yourself compassion so you can understand. I'm not saying you have to understand where it came from. I'm not saying, because you might have, okay, so for me, used to have really, really bad anger issues. And until I had emotion code, I didn't realize that it was coming from my grandfather, which I've never met this man. This is my grandfather on my dad's side. I don't even think my dad's really remembers his own dad. Bro was kind of like not existent. But bro, like he wasn't even really a part of any of our lives yet. For some reason, I have anger issues due to him. I mean, that doesn't say anything. But anyway, I like my anger issues. I don't get angry like that no more. I don't get angry like I used to anymore because of the emotion code and like dealing with that. And also at the same time, when we released that anger, when I was with Lynn and we released that anger, I literally felt like I could hear someone say thank you. Because when you release, another thing about emotion code, when you release those trapped emotions and release those energies in the body, like move them through the body, out of the body, um it also helps that person, whoever you got, if it was from somebody, it also helps them as well. Like it clears it for them too, whether they're alive or passed on, because the soul the soul remembers, like the soul remembers your past. I believe in past lives, right? The soul remembers your past lives. The soul remembers the things that you went through. That's why sometimes you might feel really drawn to something. Like let's say like you're like, I'm really okay, I'm just gonna talk about me because I can and it makes sense. But I'm really drawn to like medieval stuff. Like I'm really drawn to like dragons and unicorns and like castles and princes and princesses and kings and all that shit. I love that shit. That's like my favorite shit. And I'm pretty convinced that in one of my past lives, me and some other people I actually know, like in this lifetime, I'm pretty sure we all existed in Spain around the time of kingdoms, and we were all talking Spanish and whatever. Like, I'm pretty convinced that was an actual like life that I lived, and so it makes sense that I'd be like really drawn to those types of things. And similarly with what was I saying? I don't know what I was saying about that. I'm sorry if you wanted me to finish that thought. I really think I needed to stop and continue back to like not fixing the understanding. Um, like like I said, like I didn't know where my anger came from. I never understood that. But like again, with the emotion code, I was able to find out where it came from, right? Who it came from specifically, and when it happened to them. I think for him, it happened when he was in his 20s or something like that, or whatever. And then there was something else that happened for him when he was in Texas, which is really interesting, which is why I got very sick when I came to Texas. I had two family members that were a part of that. It was funny too because I asked Lynn. I was like, "Hey, I really want to see if there's trapped emotions having to do with Texas." So at this point, we already knew I was trying to get out of here. We'll get out of New Mexico. And she was like, "I don't think there's anything, but we'll test it." Tested it. Three things came up: me and two family members. And one of them wasn't even like actually it was three things. Actually, it was two from one person and one from another person. Actually, it wasn't even one. None of them were. Nothing was for me. They had bad experiences in Texas, and it got passed down through the genes to me. It just happened, and that's why I was getting sick when I moved here because of the. It was mostly because I felt like it was because of the weather, but now it makes sense. It was like an energetic thing. It had nothing to do with me, but anywho, I'm also a really empathetic person. That's another thing too. You will inherit things from other people through your genes, but you also inherit things from other people when you're a fully functioning human being, if that makes sense. So like not even just in the womb, because I received some trauma from my mother while I was in the womb because she was waiting for my dad to come home and he came home late as fuck and she was panicked, as one would be, for someone who said that they were going to come home hours before. So, and that was actually something that I ended up being trapped in me. So, and I was before I was even born. Actually, there's a couple things that happened before I was born, but that was one of the things. And I sat down and talked to her about it, and we talked about it, and I'm like, that makes sense, because like, if you're pregnant, I don't know if anyone is pregnant or thinking about becoming pregnant or know anybody who's pregnant. Your experiences, like your baby feels all that. They hear you, they hear your heartbeat, they hear like the things you're going through. They can feel your emotions. Like, you best believe the thing growing in you, the baby growing in you can feel them emotions, because they definitely can. Um, so like that can be like, that could cause trapped emotions. But we're not here to fix them, we're here to understand them, and to understand them, and like understand how they make us feel. Because if we understand how they make us feel, and how they add to our behavior, then we can like come from a place of compassion and understanding and love and open and nurturing, well, for ourselves specifically, nurturing, I think it's nurturing for ourselves. Nurturing is the word I'm looking for, but nurturing for ourselves in a way that is helpful, and allows us to thrive better, and allows us to live our lives better. Because when we're trying to fix something, we're coming from a place of, there's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you, first and foremost. And we're in this mode of, we have to get rid of it. Like, it needs to be done. Like, it needs to be like mended, never think about it ever again type of thing. And that's not how our bodies work. Sometimes it takes years to work through trapped emotions and trapped things of that nature. So we can't just do that. I took a drink of water. That's why I skipped. Also, dogs came over and they're wet, and I don't want them on my blanket. Anywho, back to the video. Back to the story. So the point here is, we're not trying to fix it. We're just trying to get to a point where we're compassionate about it. From my personal noob experience to you, because I'm a newbie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not completely a newbie. Like, I'm definitely been working on self growth and development for the past 6. No, it's definitely been like at least 8 years. Like, where I've been like actively like, all right, we need to work on this. Actually, wait, when did I start going to therapy? I think it was my second semester. No, it was my second year. Was it my second year or second semester? I think it was my second semester of college. So that would have been 2018. It's 2026 now. So that would have been just shy of, yeah, just shy of 8 years. So around 7, 8 years. So I've been working on that. So, but there's people who've been working on it for way longer than me, who are way more ahead than me. Honestly, if I would have started this a mindful adventure way back then, I probably would be way more ahead than what I am now. Because since I started this, I've been healing myself. I've been going through these processes with you guys. This is like, all every week, like, I have some kind of lesson with the thing. Even if I pre-plan it, I still have some kind of, like, the divine shows me some kind of lesson that I can share with you guys. And I just like want you guys to know, like, I'm here doing this stuff with you, and it really fucking works. Like, all the stuff I'm talking about really fucking works, because this time last year, I was a different person. Like, even when I first started the blog, different person. Like, I've grown so much, and I'm so proud of myself. Just real quick, round of applause for me. Round of applause for you. I am proud of you for even being here, even coming this far into the video, because I know I was rambling earlier, but I feel like it was important. Maybe it wasn't. You could have skipped it. Now you're here. Okay. I'm dropping things out my hands. So basically what I'm saying is, like, from one noob to another, just like our intuition is a whisper, and we have to like learn to like listen to our body. I mean, listen to our body, but also listen to our intuition. We also have to learn to listen to our body. It has its own language. It has tension, pain, tingling, heat. Sometimes we get chills, things of that nature. There's things that happen in our bodies that and restlessness. That's another thing too. I feel like a lot of people, like, some people are like, I think I have, like, not restless leg syndrome, but like they have restless legs. but it's because they're also anxious. I found that very interesting. A lot of people with anxiety also have like really, they get their legs move a lot. I'm one of those people. This is, I don't know if that's actually a thing, but from my personal experience, that's what I've experienced. So, but you know, and that's the thing. Like that's, you know, that's where, you know, we're keeping the anxiety like trapped. It's like in our legs. You know, we're moving our legs around. You know, trying to get the, you know, moving the energy. Our bodies are trying to like, fuck, we gotta do something, because when you move, creates that motion, so that emotion can get back in motion. The energy can get back in motion, and then we can move it out, like let it go through, and then cycle through if it needs to cycle through. So we have to like learn, you know, our body. We have to learn what our body is trying, how our body is trying to speak to us, and that's something that takes time, takes practice. And like I said, it's not a matter of fixing; it's a matter of understanding and holding compassion and space for yourself. Because if you don't hold compassion and space for yourself, you will start to tear yourself apart, and you'll be very critical of yourself. Why am I not growing faster? Why am I still dealing with these traumas? Why am I still dealing with this thing? Why is this, you know, you go from being a victim or having victim mentality or feeling like things are happening to you, to being like, okay, I can look at this from a different perspective and turn this into something that works for me. Learning more about yourself, right? Because each trauma teaches us something. The reason why it affected us so greatly is because it's trying to teach us something. There's something that's there for us to learn, or something that's there for us to at least witness, be like, okay, when X, Y, and Z happens, when the fear response, one of the fear responses, you either fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And sometimes you'll be really surprised to find out that you do something you didn't think you did. Like maybe you thought you were a runner, but you're a fighter, you know what I mean? Or maybe you thought you were a fawner, but really you were just freezing. You were not sure what to do. You know? And that's something that you can work through, and you can know, like, hey, when I get into a situation where stress becomes to a certain level, this is how I respond. And that's fine. Actually, that's really good, because then you can live your life even better, because you know that if you have a situation that is stressful, then you can be like, okay, I know I respond in this way, and this is the steps I need to take in order to support myself in this situation. Dealing with the pains and stuff in your body, because like sometimes, even just like sometimes when I think about stuff, when I think about things that happened in the past, I'll get aches in my back or in my low back or in my hip, right, or in my knee, or like I said, my ankle or my wrist. I get shoulder pain sometimes too. Um, or like I'll feel like tightness in my stomach, um, or in my throat, if it's something about like speaking my truth or speaking up for myself, basically speaking my truth. Um, or sometimes I'll get headaches, like not like oh my god, raging headache all day every day, but like I'll get like a little bit of pain or like tightness I feel in my head, you know, in different parts. Um, and I really feel like that has to do with the trap trauma, and that's something that when I look at it, I don't look at it as like, wow, my body's in pain. It's like, wow, my body's in pain. What happened? Like, how can I help myself? How can I support myself in the situation to understand better? So like you gotta like sit right with the physical knot, or you know, the physical knot or whatever it is that you're working through, because it could be, you know, like I said, it could be muscle. It's anything soft tissue related, so it could be muscle, joint, it could be tendon, you know, ligaments, all that stuff. um it could be something like that, and you know, you're sitting with it and you're like, wow, this thing is really fucking painful, and I don't know why it's painful. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention too is a lot of these traumatic experiences and um the somatic energy that's trapped in the body. A lot of those things, like if you ever had like pain you didn't like I said earlier, I was talking about sometimes it's hard to tell like whether it's not actual injury or a gene expression, thing of that nature, when we were trying to figure out if it's from an experience. Sometimes you might go to the doctor, right, and they might run all the tests. I mean, like actually run all the tests, and you still don't know what the fuck is going on. So, like, oh, the tests that are available, I should say, because they're always working on something somewhere in the world. But all the tests that are available to you, whatever. And we still don't know what the fuck's going on. There's a really, really, really good chance, besides it being some kind of crazy fucking thing that you've never heard of before, that the doctors haven't seen anywhere but in the textbooks, it could be trapped emotions or pain. And you could sit there and be like, I don't understand this. I want to learn. And that's something you could ask your body, and your body will help teach you. Like, one of the things, like I said, I'll be thinking about something specific. Like when I think about, hello, oh, it slid down and touched my leg. I thought it was like a big ass bug. When I was younger, and by younger I mean like a couple years ago, I was sitting there, I was like in pain, like my back was hurting really bad. And I was like, what is going on? Like, I'm stretching, I'm working out, what the fuck is happening? And then I realized that it's stress from all the responsibility that I was taking on myself, that I should never have taken on myself. Like, this is like I was taking on other people's responsibilities on top of my own, and it was causing my body to like seize up and like get like really, really, really tight. And it was to the point where my whole back, I mean, like, I was like not limping, but I might as well have been hunched over limping. Like, it was that bad. And when I was sitting there with the pain, I'm like, yo, what, why am I in pain, right? Like, what's going on? And as I sat there and thought about it for like the week, because it was painful for the whole week. Like, there was nothing I could have done. Like, I was taking a leave, like I was trying to stretch. Nothing was working. But when I was sitting there and thinking about it, every now and then when I would feel like, man, like, what's going on? What's going on? I noticed that it would flare up when I was taking on those other people's fucking responsibilities. So it became very obvious to me that this pain is stemming from me being super fucking hero and taking on other people's responsibilities instead of making them take on their own responsibilities. And guess what happened when I stopped taking on other people's responsibilities? Well, for the most part, the pain went away. Mostly went away. Of course, I still have back pain. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't. But I will sit here and tell you that it's not nearly as bad as it used to be. Oh my god, I would literally wake up and be so stiff. I'd be like limping to the bathroom. Like, literally, like, I might as well just drag myself across the fucking house to the bathroom. Like, it was bad. So sit with it. Sometimes you need more than just like an hour or just a day or whatever. Sometimes you just need to sit with it the whole time it's in pain and be like, when does it get worse, right? When does it flare up the worst? Because sometimes just finding out when it flares up the worst will actually like free you and like give you a new perspective that you can use. Hello, fly, gnat. That you can use to like help heal and process and understand things, right? I want to help this ant, but he has food and I don't want him to drop it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna help this ant real quick. Ant has been helped. I helped the ant twice. Cut out quite a bit. Ant was it was struggling to find its way back to the ground. It was very confused on this mat. There was no scent for it to follow. So I put it on the ground. So hopefully it finds its way back home and can get help from somebody, because it's holding like a little piece of orange peel. Anywho, so yeah, take time and sit with that knot, that physical pain. Like, really sit there and think about it. Because sometimes it takes a little bit of time to like figure out what it's coming from. Especially, like I said, especially if you have exhausted all your options and it's not something that can be explained through regular medical explanations. I think that's the best way to describe it. So when we deal with, like, when we're dealing with potentially traumatic situations, or when we're dealing with stuff, right? The whole point, I don't want to say potentially traumatic. What I want to say is, like, when we're dealing with these pains, or like, not, and I don't want to say dealing because that sounds like kind of aggressive. I mean, like, we're working on it. I feel like we should just, we're working on it. That's better. We need to realize that we need to protect our energy, right? And this comes with boundaries. This comes with grounding. This comes with, sorry, I threw that at myself. This comes with protecting your nervous system, or remembering, like learning how to stabilize your nervous system, which is actually what we're talking about next week. So stick around for that. I'm super excited to talk about that. But I think it's next week or third week. I don't know. I'll put it here. Third or second week. We'll know. But we need to protect our personal space, our energy. It's important. It's just as important as protecting our physical space, or our physical being. Like, you put on clothes or sunscreen to protect yourself from the sun, and obviously, elements. And we like clothes because people like clothes. But aside from that, well, what it's actually used for, we put clothes on for that reason. And we also, I'm snapping this twig. I'm sorry if it bothers you. But when we do these things, they protect our physical, but we also need to protect our energy. In other words, like I said, boundaries. I will link all the stuff for boundaries, the boundaries video here, and then obviously I'll have down below the boundaries blog post. You can go check it out. All on boundaries: how to set boundaries, how to enforce boundaries, how to tell people about your boundaries, how to work through not enforcing your boundaries, the failing portion of it, because you're gonna fail. Like everything you do, you're gonna fail at least once, unless you don't, and then more power to you if you don't fail. But for most of us, we're gonna fail at least once or twice, at least once or twice, when we're learning something new or doing something new, including setting up our own boundaries and enforcing them, especially if we're people pleasers or recovering people pleasers. So just like I have mods for my TikTok live stream, you need mods for yourself, right? You need to moderate yourself. You need to moderate the energy that you keep around, the people you keep around, the things that you're consuming. Like, again, like all of this we're going to talk about this month, and I'm so excited that I'm prefacing it right now, but stick around, right? If you want to know more, be here for next week and the next week and the next week, and then we'll be done with the month. But you gotta protect yourself. You gotta tell people what you will and will not tolerate, what your terms and conditions are for existing in time and space with them, and handling it accordingly. Because this is like necessary for your nervous system. Because like if your nervous system gets too overworked, it leads to a very poor quality of life. It leads to more problems than it's worth, and you probably do experience burnout, things of that nature. That's overworking your nervous system. That's literally your body like, please, we need to rest. And that also causes trauma in the body. Like when you burn out, you got to work through that. You got to work through all of that. You can't just be like, oh, I burned out, and rest and then go back to work. Like you have to work through that. Like you basically forsaked your body and said, fuck you, we're gonna do what I fucking said we're gonna do. And then your body's like, oh my god, I need rest, bitch, what are you doing? And then you get to the end of the work day or work week or month or whatever it is that you push yourself to get through, and your body's like, now we can't do anything. Sorry, we're sick. We can't do, I told you we needed to rest, but you said deadline. And I said 3-hour rest, and you said no. So here we are. So I just want you guys. We're going to the call to action, the conclusion, because I know this video is long enough as it is. So we're preparing the vessel, right? We are learning to, one, weave ourselves, like we're weaving ourselves into existence, but also at the same time, we are taking care of our temple. We're cleaning our temple. We're dusting off the catacombs. We're getting rid of things that we no longer need. We're working through things to fix things and to heal and to grow and to develop, because we can't we can't have a good life if we're working with broken pieces or we're working with something that's faulty. Like, we need to work with something that's working, right? Something that actually works. So it's important to remember that. And it's also important to keep in mind that every single day is a new day. Every single day is different. Like, literally, you might be traumatized by something from yesterday, and then now today you're still dealing with it. Um, Shit's not easy. None of this is easy. Everything I talk about is hard to do. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it's not, oh my god, walk in a park. Like, this takes time and effort, lots of time, energy, effort, and commitment to yourself. So I hope that you guys do that. I hope you guys, like, take time to sit down and think about, like, the aches and stuff in your body, or maybe what your body is asking from you, or maybe your body's asking you just to hold up your boundaries, right? Like I said, I have the boundaries thing down below, so if you want to go read it or watch the video, that's available to you. This video is a lot longer than the other videos I made recently, but I got really excited in the beginning. I hope you guys enjoy that. So yeah, but the weekly prompt this week is, I want you to identify your loudest body part right now. So, like, what part of your body is speaking to you the loudest? Is it your hips? Is it your knee? Is it your ankle? Is it your wrist? Is it your shoulders? Is it your gut, right? Is it your neck? Is it your jaw? Like, I also hold a lot of tension in my jaw too. I forgot to mention that. You perpetual headaches, you know what I mean? All that, okay? Like, what is the loudest right now, right? And then obviously from there, then sit down with yourself and be like, okay, why is this so loud? What's going on? But that is the weekly prompt. That is the video for the week, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you guys like this. Even though, like I said, I went on several rants earlier and I lost train of thought twice. But I feel like what I said was interesting or helpful, and I hope it's helpful for you guys as well. And yeah, I'm excited. I hope to see you guys next week. I also hope you guys go, if you guys want to, keep in touch, keep connected. Go check out my link tree. It's down below. You can find all my social medias there. You can find my website there. My support me page, and all that stuff is available for you, to you. And then all the resources that I mentioned in this video will be listed down below. The blog post will be listed first and foremost. Of course, when you click it, you can get to the YouTube video from there. Of course, if there's YouTube video, I would have had it in a card, so you can go back and check that out if you so choose to. And I think that's it. I love you guys so very much, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your 24 hours, wherever you are on that 24-hour scale, and that you guys know that you're loved. I know I just said I love you guys, but I hope you guys know that you're loved. Like, if no one's ever told you, I'm gonna tell you that I love you deeply, from the down depths, deepest part of my soul, because I just love everyone. I don't like everybody, but I love everyone. I love you. I love you so much. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day. I keep saying that. Okay, love you. Bye.